Okay. Um, okay, Islam, Miss Elon Musk, Islam. It is April the 12th, 2024. And once again, I'm very thankful and grateful. I'm looking up, thinking about it today. Oh, let me finish my thought. It's April the 12th, 2024. I'm Ron Arrington-Bey. I'm formerly at Extended Stay America, now Admiral Suites. Okay, Islam. Um, it is Friday and it's about 6 p.m. What I'm going to talk about today, Mr. Elon Musk, is first of all, I'm thankful and grateful that you have, once again, X, formerly Twitter, but still sometimes I guess Twitter is still involved. Today, I'm very thankful and grateful. And I'm thankful and grateful that you encourage free speech. So, what I'm going to do is demonstrate a line of health and connect once again the mental, spiritual planes with the physical plane. And I'm going to say also, I'm thankful and grateful that you, as a scientist, demonstrated how telepathy is real and the act of using telepathy is real. To be telepathic is real. It's not a rare situation. It is a science that can be used and distributed at ease. Literally, if you are able to demonstrate telepathy like you were on the video with ease. So, what I'm about to do is give you a history of a little bit of my health and of myself in reference to the spiritual and mental planes. And I'm Rhonda Arrington Bay. Try. I apologize. What I did was before I do this, I'm try to once again articulate my thought one thought at a time. I work today. I work from 10 to 3, and then I went to Whole Foods. Then I came here, and I am a little tired. So during this time of being tired, I can easily not articulate a thought completely, like have a thought but not verbalize it. And usually it's because of forced engagements of unclean spirits. Imani is in the room. He's over there on his tablet. Um, Let me see if I can get you to see him. Okay, one moment. Okay. Excuse me. I just got the eating to a salad and vegan fish patties. Islam, can you see yourself, Imani? Imani Gray Bay. Do you know anyone personally here in Annapolis, Maryland? Um, as a naturalized Moorish American who affirmed to uphold the U.S.A. Constitution of 1787, all four of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations, the 13th Amendment, 20 sections, cosmic laws of freedom. Do you reject the telepathic code? Have you ever implied that you want to date anyone that's pale skinned, African American, which also being black? Those are anyone Spanish speaking, male, and these are male or female. Have you ever implied that since you've been here in Annapolis, Maryland? You mean you have never implied any such thing since we've been here of 2016 of the last week of May until now, which is April the 12th, 2024. You never implied that? Okay. Have I ever had anyone come to this room, this hotel? I should say hotel. We moved from room 116. Now we're in room 119 at the same hotel. It just changed names. It was Extended Stay America. Now it's Admiral Suites. Have you ever seen anyone in this room besides you and I and Abbas when he came to stay with us? And Moss. Oh yeah, well Moss came to drop Abbas off. That's Abbas's father. He dropped Abbas off and then he left within like 4 or 5 hours. And then Nini, which is my aunt, came and visited. But she didn't spend the night. She stayed for maybe an hour and she left. Besides them, has anyone else been here? Okay. And I answer no to all those questions too in reference to knowing anyone or implying. that I want to get to know anyone personally here in Annapolis, Maryland. So I'm taking this candle over here for a moment. Okay, so okay. Now I'm going to get to why I felt like I have to say this. Miss Elon Musk, let me see if I can put this back without disconnecting the video. Okay, still hear feedback in the room. Anyway, growing up, Miss Elon Musk, I'm going to say this. I said this before. I did not know that there was such things as a spiritual plane that exists in so many words. I was not. Yes, I saw movies. Definitely, I saw lots of scary movies. Um, Dealing with through the years, but I didn't think they were all real. Yes, I hear different situations like haunted houses and some of the ghost tales. My grandma, just a little bit of ghost tales. My grandma would say, I would try to listen in or whatever, but never. I just didn't. That side of life of truth, that spirit of truth, in that manner was definitely not in my world. And I'm surprised because that's what truth is, and that's what we were and have been among for since I went through my mother's birth canal. Not only that, the spiritual plane or the spiritual world um, is so real, this mental plane, that in this spiritual mental plane where telepathy, the science of telepathy is used as like is used as a normality. And those that have had the science of telepathy before anyone knew it exists were able to be true predators. And even if I didn't know that they were able to be true predators, I didn't know and put dots together. Usually, what a person is known for in the past, they usually, in reference to spirits, unclean spirits, demonic spirits that are unclean, they'll demonstrate it continuously. You just have to give them time, and they'll show their true self. So, when I was growing up, I wasn't born with any really serious illnesses. I had some eczema, psoriasis, but not like here, and around my neck and the back of my legs a little, but not too bad. Where it didn't heal. It did heal. Um, I didn't, but others in my family had it really really bad. So I was looking at the reason why eczema or psoriasis was I guess those that are inflicted with psoriasis is really extreme on this landmass. And this one doctor, the nutritionist, was saying that lack of vitamin D. So and so that could be it. So anyway, nonetheless, everything has a spiritual. How I think right now, everything has a spiritual background. Food has a spiritual background. So lack of vitamin D, that means there was something in our diet that didn't have the nutrition that we needed. And maybe we were harmonizing with foods that was not good for us. Um, when I was around 16 or 17, I was already staying with my father. I was staying with my father because I'm about to get into my health. my genitals, and my health. So growing up, I would say I was pretty healthy. Um, I wasn't very sexually active as a teenager up until I was I was 16 going on 17. Um, I think I had my first sexual experience. And then after that, um, just like I wasn't too like into it, but the girls that I was among were. So I was one of the last ones in my little group to ever have that sexual experience or that experience. And then um, I found out for a very long time. I didn't know if my mother was alive. So I used to, because she had disappeared when I was about 11 years old. And so I was maybe 11 or 12 when she disappeared. And we got a call from a detective when I was around 16 years old, um, saying that they found remains and it was her in North Carolina. So for years, I was hoping that I would run into her, that they would find her. I didn't know why, what happened, what happened to my mom. I didn't know. I just knew. I just kept praying and praying that we'll find her one day. So the detective answered the phone, and the detective just told me, and then I told my dad. He was upset that the detective told me without consulting him first, because I was 16. And so what I ended up doing, which I was already on that path anyway of rebellion, was I started to be more and more out. Like I would leave, run away from home. I don't know all the stress my father was under. I don't know if he knew the depths of unclean spirits were among that could manipulate the mind, or download emotions sexually, um, or manipulate your children. I don't know if he knew. And if he did know some of it, I don't know how much power he thought he had to control it. So I would run away a lot of times. I didn't know, of course, and I'm telling you this because I know now that even when I was 16 years old, I'm 50 now. I'm 50 years old right now, Mr. Elon Musk. But when I was 16 years old, um, I lived in a suburban area, African American and pale skin predominantly. And yes, there were some definitely issues with prejudice and so forth. But let me just put it like this. Um, a lot of the parents would leave their children alone, and sometimes I would babysit. So these were pale skinned children, African American children. Go from one house to the next, spend the night over their house to babysit. So because we all went to the same school, right up the street, the elementary, middle school, or so forth. So yes, there was some little prejudice, but then I don't know. We just sort of grew out of it or whatever. I don't know what we, I just know we did not know. I know I didn't know what I was among, and and um I did have like I used to date predominantly it would be either light skin or even definitely pale skin boys that thought they were rappers. I did when I was young, 16, 17, and ran away, but African Americans too. Um, the ones that were really good looking and cool, just like the pale skin that was really good looking. One of my best friends was this guy named Eric. I'm not gonna say his last name because he was probably got a family or somewhere. And would be considered pale skin. I don't know exactly what his background was, but he used to wear high top fade like Kid and Play, and it would be me, him, my friend Angelique, and this guy named Shane. Us four, when we got together, Miss Elon Musk, we had the we were we had the best fun. We had so much fun together. I started off dating Eric, but it didn't never go nowhere. So I found out and another guy named Clinton. It never went nowhere. I always had a crush on him still, or just because he'll always like keep me as his like under his wing. Like that's my girl or whatever. And I could tell he always found me so attractive through the years. Especially when I started to blossom. I was wearing my hair different and shaved. But when him, because I guess because of the attention I started to get from from other boys, and it was I guess it was pretty. It was I don't know if it was ego. It was like, and she's my friend. But when I say we had fun, so did some we did some crazy things. We really did, and that was one of the best times in my life. Getting away from the hurt and pain of losing my mom and the miscommunication with my father. I don't know if he knew how to communicate how he was feeling. I don't know who was he able to talk to, because the same unclean spirits that I recognize and acknowledge we are among today, they existed then too. And being a single parent with two girls and a teenager who's blossoming and not too bad looking, I can only imagine, and he having pain that he maybe having a challenge to deal with. I don't know the pain, how far it went with my mom, especially when we found out about them finding the remains and so forth. I don't know. I just know I don't know how much he knew in depth of what we were among, and how unclean demonic spirits feed off emotions, manipulate emotions. The TV was, we watched TV then, and a lot of the TV in my neighborhood, it's like, okay, raising children. Because the parents, my dad was working a lot, and then other parents, some of them were going on vacation and doing things. So these is because the reason why I know, because I was babysitting, and some of them, like some houses, I cleaned up. That's how I know. So in my house, we cleaned up our own house. My dad had a 6-bedroom house. It was a nice house. So, I mean, it wasn't like they were calling me because I'm the black girl in the neighborhood. There were blacks or African American. I was under that status, and pale skin. It was maybe one or two families from China, but it was just I was trying to make some money, so I was like, I'll babysit, I'll clean your house. anyway, it was usually Eric, me, Shane, Angelique, and I've got Clinton. We were. And it wasn't, Shane was not with Angelique, Clinton wasn't with Angelique, or and after I got over that, Eric was not gonna come back to me, even though he did try as I got older, because Eric was a few years older than me. He was let's see, I think he was maybe 20 and I was 17, I think. Or yeah, I think he was like, I was like 17 years old and he was like maybe 20. So and then as I got older, I was dating one of the most, I would consider it to be in that day and time, one of the most handsome African American male men in our in uh in the clique or the group. Because he back then, Mr. Elon Musk, dancing, going to teenage clubs, was a real major thing in reference to popularity, or just knowing who can dance. And they would have a lot of men, a lot of young boys, or would get their groups together and they would dance, and girls would look, and the girls would get the group together and they would dance. So there was this one guy named I'm gonna just call him PJ, and he was actually he dated an ex friend of mine, which was very beautiful, but she was a little bit on the wild side too, and so it's a long story. But anyway, I he ended up dating me, and he was very one of the he was considered to be very good looking, not just face, but um um he African American, but just in build too. Just really very handsome, and he could dance. Oh, he can dance. Him and his crew, they really could dance. When they dance, everyone looked. So, and plus he was good looking, very good looking. He wanted me. So, and but I was so young. I did, he was older too. He was like 20, 21, and I was like, whatever, you know. I didn't take. I mean, one time, Miss Elon Musk, he gave me a talk. He was like, "I want a girlfriend." He was like, "I want a girlfriend." And do you know what that means? I was like, yeah, I knew what he means. I didn't care. I was, I was so my dad was basically, he just sort of let the rings go on me, because I just went wild, more so leaving the house and running away or coming back, whatever. um after I got the call with about my mother. For a little while, I think I went through a slight depression, but anyway, my dad just sort of, I think once again, I didn't know what we were on, so I could have been manipulated, and I'm pretty sure I was even then. But anyway, getting back to the guy, so he was older, but I was just young, and I did not care. I was already, I was just breaking free from being a tomboy, and seeing myself as being from a tomboy, playing basketball, run outside, football, whatever, to looking at myself and notice that boys are looking at me and saying, "Ooh, she's what's your name?" And I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, liking who I'm looking. I'm like looking at the girls that I'm around, and they're considered very beautiful. And then when they want to go out and hang out, they're giving me a call and say, "Can you come with us?" Because the group, that the more girls, or the girls you hang out, want to look good, so you get the boys to look at you. So, anyways, because so then when you're walking and with your crew or your group, and the guys are looking, it's like, who are they, and so forth. And so anyway, that's some of the thoughts we would have. But there was, anyway, to make a long story short, I was very immature for a very long time. Just the best experience with so getting back, so I think Eric, not Eric, excuse me, PJ, or that, yeah, I would just call him Eric. He noticed these things too about me blossoming even more, but at the time I didn't care. I definitely was not going to I wasn't going back to Eric. I just saw him as a friend, a good friend. But me and him stay connected through the years. And I didn't know how much he really liked me until he did something for me that not average people would do. And he did, and he became he and he did it for me, and that's when I knew that he really I had a place in his heart. somewhere in him. But I guess when he was turning around looking at me, then I started to look this way, and I didn't, I just saw him as a friend and nothing more. But he was always good looking, very, very good looking. I don't know his background. I could tell you he was pale skinned, good looking. Um, and when I first met him, um, the black girls were like, who is the kid? Not who were some of the white rappers that were, well, that the guy that would be like ice baby, ice baby, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so we thought he was good looking. He looked at me and he wanted my number. So all the girls at this teenage club, he looked at me and he's trying to get my number. So I give him my number, and that's how we stayed in contact. That's how we became friends. I had to be like 16. This is right, like 16 years old, and we stayed friends years for years, years, years. And I'm saying 21, 22. After I had money, after I spoke to him a few times after I had a bass to say hi. It's been a long time because he was in Georgia. He lived in I forgot the name of the county he lived in. So anyway, he came and saw me after I had money. So anyway, if I remember correctly, yeah, he did. So anyway, to make a long story short, what's the time? Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know what I was among, and just thinking about him, Eric, Angelique, Shane, and Clinton, and how much fun we had together. And when I say fun, I'm not saying we're doing things kinky. No, we would go to teen clubs and anyway, we just had so much fun. That's all I can say, because we were we did some risky things, as in just to get a a push, not drugs, just to get a adrenaline pump or experience that adrenaline, and I'm just thankful that we got through it without harming one another, or we were harmed, but we had fun. When I say we had fun, we had fun. When they came and got us, sometimes they would come to Cobb County to get us. Shane was also pale skin, by the way. Shane, Clinton, and Eric were pale skin. Shane was more pale skin than Eric. Shane actually had like red hair, sort of like a sandy reddish hair. Clinton had brown hair, um, like a brownish in hair, and then Eric, his hair was dark, 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 dark brown, maybe close. You would think black, and he would like have his hair shaved, like an African American boy. And anyway, Angelique was African American. Okay, and so it would be me. It would be us five, and we would. I mean, we we just had fun. That's all I can tell you. They would take us back to some of the country teenage clubs in their town, and then we'll go to another place and another place, another place. When we said when we made a date to hang out, I mean, it wasn't just one day. We knew we were going to be together for us five about 2 to 3 days. Let's have fun. So anyway, oh my goodness. I don't know what's up, but my dad, he was gone a lot, and I think I don't think he knew how to cope with what I was going through, because he was working too. As far as I know, I mean, he said if we thought he was working, and and then he was not able to articulate his pain, maybe in a healthy manner. So what I would do is run away. That's it. I would run away. And it was hard. So going back to PJ, the good-looking African American guy. I wasn't gonna take him seriously because I could care less. At that time, I was young, I was youthful, and I was just getting out of my tomboy stage. I didn't know what he's 20 years old, 21, actually 21. I'm like 17. I'm like, oh, so he was like, I want a serious girlfriend. I was like, okay. Anyway, all I could think of having fun and running away and escaping from whatever emotions I was feeling at the time, which was probably some download. So in that time, I met this one guy who was pale skinned, and I remember he was he was a little bit older, but after the sexual intercourse with him, his name was, I'm gonna say RT. No, I'm gonna say RC. I noticed that there was like a discharge, and I didn't know where it came from. And I remember I spoke to Shane about it. Shane, my friend with Eric and Clinton, and he was like, I want you to get checked out, make sure you're okay. Because I was like, at the time, I was like 17 or 18. This is during the time I was running away. And Shane was like, I want you to get checked out. And I was like, okay. He said, I'm serious. I want you to get checked out. Something's not right. So demonstrating how much of a friend Shane and Eric and Clinton was more a hangout. But we didn't have like personal conversations with Clinton. But we Shane and Eric, me and Angelique did. So Shane was like, go get checked out. So when I went to go get checked out, when I returned back home and settled down, that was like something that caused me to really really settle down, and because I was worried, and the thing with HIV was on my thoughts, like, oh my goodness, I need to, I'm too wild. I'm very wild. I gotta stop this. I hope I don't have HIV, because I didn't know what the symptoms of HIV was and so forth, AIDS, and you know, and Shane was serious. And I was serious. He was like, I want you to get checked out. I was like, okay. So I went to go get checked out, and the main thing he said, tell them to check you for herpes, tell them to check you for warts, HIV, everything. So I did, and it came up negative. So I don't know. So through the years, I didn't have I went to the now when I say checked out, I went to the clinic. I went to the clinic and got checked. I didn't have HIV. I didn't have AIDS. I didn't have herpes, according to them. I didn't have warts, according to them. Even though I explained to them what I experienced, I did experience yeast infections. I Because of how I guess you will say wild I was at the time. I um and before um Imani came, I want to say, even a little bit after too, but I just knew that I was really paranoid. So not too much after, but some after. Yes, I think I definitely not the woman I am now. I'm 50 years old. I'm telling you, I was not the woman even then. Especially with my father having his own business and they selling alcohol and so forth. I'm telling you, I um I was in a different world, different state still then, and anyway, I got checked through the years to make sure, and everything always came up negative. The hospital, the nurses said you don't have HIV, you don't have herpes, you don't have warts. Okay, so I felt well about that. Um, Now I'm gonna get to up to date, because through the years before I met Sheik Dwayne Bafube, I noticed sometimes a sore, like a little sore, would appear. I never had a cold sore around my mouth. I never had cold sores. I knew people that did, and I knew. And then as time went on, I learned that that was a form of herpes simplex. But I never had a cold sore before, around my mouth or like that. But I did get a little sore here on my vagina, and I didn't know through the years it was like one would it would come and go, but I didn't know. Sometimes I never saw it for a very very long time, like a year or so, whatever. So I didn't know exactly what triggered it, or that was another reason why I would go get checked again. No, you're negative. You don't have herpes. I think how many times I get checked? Let's see, one, two. I got checked. Oh, with a bass. I got checked when I was pregnant with a bass. So when I'm gonna say when I met Sheep Dwayne Buffalo Bay, I didn't think, I didn't have a sore on my vagina or anything like that. And we were communicating in the spiritual and mental plane. Even though I always still had thoughts that maybe I was infected somehow. I did, but if at the time, if a nurse or a doctor say negative, it's like, but what a relief. I can't tell you how many times I was checked for HIV. It was more than I got checked for HIV a lot. Just 'cause I was so paranoid because I was not a lady. Okay, that's why I think PJ, was it PJ? And other, and other, guys, they were like, it definitely, I was gonna stick when he was like, I want a girlfriend, it's like, who, you know, my thoughts, I didn't know, I was just whatever, yeah, in that, yes, I can get my little heart broken or crushed a little bit here and there, but like, oh, yeah, but then I move on. Go through the emotions, look at a movie that connects, with what I'm doing. It's like, okay, I need to mourn and be sad for a month or so. Okay. He does my girlfriend. I'll forgive him. We'll get over another and we'll start singing songs, go to the next, and we'll get over them and move on. Oh well. Anyways. So anyway, I wasn't a lady. I was not a lady. And I didn't know spiritually what I was among. So with Sheep Dwayne Buffalo Bay, I would had definitely my consciousness had changed, and I experienced um, living after my consciousness changed with the dream of the woman that looked similar to me with a red dot in the middle of the forehead, and she was like doing this. And now I realized she was a woman that looked similar to me. She came from a different realm. I realize this now. A portal, a cosmic portal to connect with me and awake me. And I think she was me. And so when that happened, my morality or thoughts of morality changed tremendously. I mean, really changed. I saw things totally different in reference to morality, and I really care more about humanity. And not only that, I'd said this before, but this to think of having sex, those thoughts were like, I said I wanted to be celibate. I was celibate before I met Sheik Dwayne Buffalo Bay for maybe 3 years, 4 years before I met Sheik Dwayne Buffalo Bay. So 5 years, or maybe yeah, I think maybe about 4 years I was celibate. Okay, I didn't know if it's, I didn't know that you can even connect with someone on a spiritual plane. So I've been celibate physically for over 10, 12 years. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. Sheik Dwayne Buffalo Bay was my only willing engagement on the mental plane. Only. Never did that with anyone before him or after him. Willingly. Never. And still to this day, it stays I say that stays the same. And still to this day, I'm physically celibate. So through the years, um, after Sheik Dwayne Bethel meeting him, and then when we went to New York, and right before we moved from New York, I remember my genitals were being attacked, even in New York. I haven't experienced a sore on my genitals in years. When I say years, I'm saying years. So I didn't know why my genitals were being attacked. First of all, spiritually, mentally, because I didn't know that I was still learning the world that I was among. Okay, I didn't know that there was a mental plane where Moors can communicate. I don't have the telepathic code. I reject the telepathic code. Money doesn't have the telepathic code. Or others, or demons, or unclean spirits can really possess the mind in that mental plane. Until I met Sheik Dwayne Bey, and then that's when I knew of the planes. The plane, I had no idea. In New York, right before I moved here to Maryland, my genitals were being attacked a lot. I don't know why, but it looked like mongoloids were doing it. Maybe from I don't know. Especially that's what I could see, but I didn't know why. I don't know who all was doing it, but I definitely knew it was being done, and it was like they were trying to trigger something. Okay, I didn't know why though, but I had thoughts of a rule that was trying to be implemented of why they should be able to do this. Unclean spirits. When I say mongoloid, I'm saying unclean, and even I'm saying unclean, unnatural, demonic spirits. And then soon after, a soul appeared, a little one, and I documented it. I was like, where did this come from? Then when I moved here, I experienced certain things as well, engagements, because I'm here in Annapolis, and my gentles being attacked spiritually. Okay, so right before I moved here from New York, okay, I experienced this. Then we moved here, and the I experienced it on different times, and then a sore will appear. So it led me. Then I would experience induced thoughts of I have herpes, or my dreams were being manipulated by um, predominantly African American males, and those that speak Spanish from South Central America and Mexico. It look like Mexicans mostly, but it could be South Central American. And the African American males saying, "We the same, we the same," because especially when the sore will appear on my genitals, the African American males, the induced thoughts will appear that I have herpes, that I wasn't clean. So this is why Sheik Dwayne Bey did not come to get or connect with me on the physical plane. And I'm going to stop there.